Growing up, I have always been so jealous of men. Seriously, simple hairstyles, peeing standing up, actually having pockets in their pants, being able to mansplain, and best of all, manspreading. Why do they get to let it breathe and breathe? And as I've matured, the advantages of being a male didn't stop there. I couldn't walk to the store across the street without my parents telling me I was going to get kidnapped and suggest I bring along my man of a cousin. He was 7! And especially when it came to my health, I wasn't comfortable with discussing health concerns, fearing that it was way too much for my single father to handle. And don't even get me started on going to the doctor's office. But unfortunately, many women experience this negative encounter at the doctors. Take a look at a new analysis done by the Kaiser Family Foundations that found how nearly 50% of women reported negative experiences in the healthcare setting. Or take into consideration a recent survey reported by Forbes that found how 57% of female respondents claimed they have been dismissed or misdiagnosed by medical professionals. Whether it be women feeling dismissed, not being taken seriously, or having their pain be minimized, women's health care in America is severely lacking, and I fear that we as a society don't recognize the implications that come with. President Joe Biden said it best: health care should be a right in America, not a privilege. It is beyond time we extend that right to women. So today, we'll first prepare ourselves for an appointment and examine why women's health care is so deficient. Next, we'll let ourselves breathe and breeze as we discuss how these issues are a dilemma for women in the US. And lastly, like a hospital gown, we'll expose the backside and find ways on how to help alleviate these complications. As much as I never wanted to see my male physician ever again, I couldn't escape his terrible listening skills. Nor could I escape the question of why women's health care is so behind. The McKinsey Health Institute puts a spotlight on one of the answers, releasing data from 2020 that showed how only 1% of healthcare research and innovation was actually invested in female-specific conditions. This overall contributes to the unfortunate reality of women's medications, treatments, and textbooks being based purely on men's needs. Take, for example, a study that NPR examined of how women complaining of symptoms consistent with heart disease were twice as likely to be diagnosed with a mental illness compared to men who complained of identical symptoms. Why, you may ask? Because the medical concepts of most diseases are based on the understandings of male physiology. Lack of research is a direct harm to women, and we can place an example of this harm to menopause specifically. While 100% of women go through menopause, only 1% of studies actually consider menopause while researching aging, according to the Medical School of Harvard. And these symptoms of menopause can be described as going through hell, including week-long stretches of menstrual bleeding, 10 hot flashes a day, dryness in skin, nails, throat, and even eyes slowly calcifying. And for 10% of women, these symptoms of menopause can last for the rest of their lives. When 43-year-old Sonia of Florida was asked how menopause felt, she answered with terrible. I feel weak. I can't sleep at night. My hair keeps falling, and I feel uncomfortable. I just wish there was a medication for it that helps me. However, with this valid wish can come with severe repercussions, because a lack in women's health care is a direct link to lack in women's medications. The McKinsey Health Institute explains how since the year 2000, women in the United States have reported total adverse events from approved medicines 52% more frequently than men. meaning that women often suffer from denial of needed medications. While doctors prescribe medications like methotrexate and misoprostols to millions of people for conditions like lupus, arthritis, and cancer, women are left to suffer because these medications can be treated for either miscarriages or ectopic pregnancies. According to CNN in 2022, not 24 hours after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the Dobbs decision, Maisha Malone King got a call from her insurance company explaining that the medication she has been taking for Crohn's disease, completely unrelated to abortion, would no longer be available, overall putting her health in a situation that could result in serious consequences. This isn't just a frustrating issue, it's a life-threatening one. When there are stories shared across the nation of women being mistreated, misdiagnosed, and straight up ignored, it is a problem. It is unjust to have 43-year-old Debbie Wright pass away right outside the hospital she visited after being in the ER 3 times in 1 week, being sent home with anxiety medication when she really had a heart attack. It is unethical that the state of Arizona restricted Chloe Patridge from reproductive care, forcing her to watch her newborn baby pass away 44 hours after she was born. And it is unfair that because Candy Miller was afraid to seek medical care she needed, her 3-year-old daughter had to watch her own mother become lifeless from sepsis. Whether it be our government or our research, women have been failed. Women are the backbones of our communities, yet we deny, gaslight, and undervalue them when it comes to their health. Women deserve to be treated. They deserve to be represented, and they deserve the basic health care they seek. It is time for us as a nation to recognize that we need to change this outdated and degrading system we call healthcare. So, what's the backside to this solution? What are some ways that we can help alleviate these issues? As a young woman, being up here and speaking on these controversial issues isn't easy. And while this shouldn't be a matter of controversy, our society has made it difficult for women to voice their concerns for far too long. That is why, as women, it is so important that we advocate for ourselves. I mean, take a look at the history of women's rights. We didn't magically just gain our rights. We had women like Sojourner Truth, who fearlessly fought and advocated for gender and racial equality, or Malala Yousafzai, who fought and advocated for women's education. It is time we fight and advocate for women's health care. Not only is helping women's health care, well, ethical, it can also bring in some physical benefits. As much as we love and care about humanity, we also love and care about the cash. Take a look at a 2020 report done by the World Economic Forum that found how addressing the women's health gap could boost the global economy by $1 trillion annually by 2040. I mean, this should give the Elon Musks of the world an incentive to care, right? And finally, realize that healthcare is always on the ballot. Politicians, who are generally male, old, and white, have been dictating women's healthcare as well as medical professionals. Don't believe me? Just this year, it was announced by politicians that Medicaid is on the chopping blocks, not only affecting women, but our elderly, our disabled, and our children. Vote for politicians who are willing to advocate for healthcare. At the end of the day, I really do like being a girl. I mean, the only times I still wish I was a boy is when I remember I can't pee standing up and at the doctor's office. Because if my doctor tells me again I am just on my period, I will beat him up. Or I'll send him a link to my oratory, because that's really, period.